They never imagined I'd be the one to answer that door. A decade. 10 long years of silence, of being cut from every photo, erased from every invitation, whispered about as though I were the blemish on our family's name. 10 years of reunions where my chair sat empty, not because I was gone, but because they decided I no longer existed. And now here they were, standing on the porch of my home. My home. Their faces drained of color, eyes flicking nervously across the marble columns and the pristine lawns, wealth they never thought I'd touch. When I finally opened the door, I didn't smile. I let the silence stretch, let the years of absence thicken in the air like smoke between us. Then, with a steady calm they weren't prepared for, I spoke. You managed to find the address. Too bad it's no longer yours to enter. Backstory. Once I hadn't been an outsider. I believed in Sunday dinners, family portraits, laughter by the fire. I thought loyalty was unconditional. But in my family, loyalty came with a price tag. My brother, the golden child, bought his with obedience. My cousins purchased theirs with endless flattery. And me? I had the audacity to dream differently, to step outside the mold they forced onto everyone else. For that, I was marked the problem. The final wound came 10 summers ago, a season I can never erase. I drove 3 hours to the lake house for what was supposed to be our annual reunion, a tradition, a promise. But when I arrived, the gate was locked. Laughter drifted from inside, faint yet unmistakable. I called their phones. No answer. It wasn't a mistake. It was a message. You don't belong here. Discovery of betrayal. The very next day, the photos went up online. Everyone smiling on the dock. Everyone but me. No tag. No mention. As if I had never existed. That's when the pattern revealed itself. Birthdays passed with no calls. Weddings came and went without invitations. Family group chats existed without me. It wasn't carelessness. It was deliberate exclusion. And still, I didn't crumble. Instead, I studied their cruelty like a blueprint. I learned their hierarchy, their dependencies, their fragile egos. And then it hit me. They hadn't cast me out because I was weak. They had cast me out because they feared who I might become without them. Shift in mindset. So I let them think they'd won. I stopped begging for their approval. I stopped waiting for scraps of affection. I stopped showing up uninvited. Instead, I turned inward. I focused. I planned. Every insult, every empty chair at a family table became fuel. I worked in silence, built in shadows, sharpened myself into someone they wouldn't even recognize. I didn't climb their ladder. I built my own staircase. Brick by brick. Dollar by dollar. And they never saw it happening because they never bothered to look my way. Execution of the plan. Years passed. Opportunities came. I seized them. I took the jobs they dismissed as worthless. I invested where they left. I worked while they drank. I listened while they bragged. And slowly, quietly, my life transformed. The turning point came with the house. Not just any house, the house. The estate on the hill. The same one my uncle used to point at during drives, saying, "That's real money. That's where a family like ours belongs." Except it wasn't theirs. It was mine. I didn't flaunt it. I didn't boast. I waited. Because revenge isn't delivered with noise. It's delivered with silence and timing. Climax and confrontation. The day they appeared, I knew word had spread. Families like mine survive on gossip. Someone whispered, and curiosity pulled them to my doorstep like moths to flame. They came dressed for diplomacy, with smiles that never reached their eyes, compliments dripping with envy. My mother's voice was brittle. "We didn't know you lived here." What a surprise. I let them pass the gates, but not beyond the threshold. I wanted them to feel the distance, to taste the glass wall between us. And then I said it slow and deliberate, each word a blade. "You left me without a seat at your table for 10 years. This house, this life, this is my table now. And there's no seat left for you." Their faces crumbled. My brother's smirk vanished. My mother's eyes filled. My father's jaw locked tight. For the first time, they were the ones left outside. Resolution and release. They left in silence, footsteps heavy against the stone path. I didn't watch them drive away. I closed the door, shut out their shadows, and stood in the home they swore I'd never earn. That night, I poured a glass of wine, sat by the window, and thought of the empty chair at their reunion table, the one reserved for my absence. Now it was their turn to feel it. Because the truth is, I never needed their reunion. I built my own. And when they showed up at my door, pale and trembling, they finally saw it for themselves. I hadn't been excluded. I had risen.